Gentlemen, do you think Raila Amolo Odinga is doing well as far as the AU seat is concerned? Is he losing? The reason why I'm asking questions is that Raila Amolo Odinga has been different of late, and we have been seeing moves in Africa and sentiments that are not really good, showing that things are good as far as Raila Amolo Odinga's bid for the AU chairmanship seat is concerned. Before I dissect on that topic on this video here today, kindly if this is the first time you're watching our videos, please make sure that you subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Recently, we heard the sentiments of the South African president saying that the SADC people are going to support, the SADC bloc is going to support the AU chairmanship seat aspirant from Djibouti. That means that Raila Amolo Odinga has been hit hard because that region has so many countries. In East Africa, we don't have so many of them. And in East Africa, it's clear we are divided because we have two candidates from this region, actually three. So therefore, it is very clear that if SADC has decided to support the other gentleman from Ethiopia, from Djibouti, that means very well Raila is seriously in danger. Now, another thing, the issue of Muslim nation. In Africa, we have so many countries that are affiliated to the Muslim nation community. And all these countries are supporting their fellow Muslim. Well, it's okay. Avoiding that, assuming that is not the factor here, but is assuming that we are assuming that they are supporting the ideologies that is representing right now. So that means, taking on the number of them that you're having, it is highly that the Arab country is going to support him, and Raila Amolo Odinga has already lost a huge, actually adding it to SADC, he has lost a huge support within the African continent. That makes it difficult for these countries that are supporting Raila Amolo Odinga to win against them. So therefore, it's very evident that Raila Amolo Odinga could be possibly going to lose this seat as far as the statistics are concerned. Another thing, it is that we are having now countries that are pro-East. The more days are passing, the more the war between West and East in terms of scrambling for the African support is concerned, is getting worse. Because we are getting that more countries are getting allied to East, others are going to West. As we speak right now, the war in Russia and also the war of Israel and other countries, particularly to the Middle East, Iran and other Muslim countries, that suggests clearly that still the countries supporting Israel are pro-West, and those supporting this gentleman, those supporting Israel from the West, and those are supporting those that are against Israel actions are pro-East. Now, it is very clear that these countries keep on having different opinions and they're dividing day by day. And then some of these countries control Africa. That means now it's very clear that you have in those countries controlling Africa, they're going to tell their people, their allies in Africa, that support the candidate who is an anti the actions of what? Israelites, the Israel nation. But we have those that are supporting Israel nation as well, who are okay when Kenya is supporting Israel. And now they are calling for Raila Amolo Odinga to be elected from Kenya here. And that is very critical when it comes to the AU chairmanship seat race. Because these countries are, the East and West countries are having huge influence in the African continent. And that means clearly that if Raila Amolo is not careful, probably is going to lose this seat because of the East and the West fights within the African soil. Another thing I want to say here is the Russia effect in Africa. Russia has completely taken over most of the countries in Africa. You see Burkina Faso and then the newly coming up leadership. And that means that if this leadership is taking place and Raila Amolo Odinga is one of the people, Russia is not going to favor Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be favored by the Western countries like the US, who are allied to Kenyans. So if you count the numbers in Africa that are allied to Russia, so many. If you combine this small aspect, the Muslim community, the age of Raila Amolo Odinga, you go to the SADC aspect and many other blocks, then it's very clear that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be beaten in this race. However, Raila Amolo Odinga has the strength that he has so many friends, particularly the Western countries, which are supporting his candidature to the fullest. One thing that I want to also say that's a big thing that's going to affect Raila Amolo Odinga's bid for AU chairmanship seat. I think the bigger problem that we have right now as far as Raila is concerned is the aspect to do with the youthful leadership that is in Africa as we speak. Why am I saying so? As we speak right now, there are so many young presidents that are coming up. If you check Burkina Faso, if you go to Senegal, if you go to even DRC here, we have youthful leaders taking over leadership in Africa, except Museveni and Kagame and some few leaders in the country. Even William Ruto is not so aged that you can say he's among the old guys. He's to some extent also a normal guy now when it comes to the age, when it comes to being the president of this country or even a leader in Africa. So therefore, those gentlemen and women who are of maybe youthful age and they are leaders in Africa, they are going to tend to move closer to the youthful leader that is now the guy from Djibouti. Because if they move closer to that, they'll associate themselves to the ideologies that can be brought on, the energy that is needed in that seat, and also the thinking behind it, therefore, which needs a very sober thinking. And that means very well that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to be favored because he is old, first of all. He's almost 80 or 80 years plus as we speak. And also the energy that he had before, it is not there anymore. So it is very clear that Raila Amolo Odinga is out of favor. He's out of favor completely. Another thing I want to say is that one of the Kenya's superpower aspects, it is the social media. There's no country right now I feel can completely finish Kenya when it comes to social media power. Why? Despite other countries own these powers, Africans still have the chance. Now, what I'm saying is this. When it comes to the Kenyans being a superpower, I mean strongly that they can say anything on social media and influence the entire politics of this country. Entire African continent. The reason why I'm saying so, check on what happened during the protests. We were driven by the power of social media. Go to what is happening in Africa right now. Kenyans on social media are supporting one person from Djibouti for the Asian chairmanship seat. Why? Because of the betrayal that we experience as Kenya. Because Raila Amolo Odinga, we all know, or we all see, he has betrayed the local Mwananchi. Instead, he has gone to support William Ruto because he is benefiting as well as far as the rest is concerned. So therefore, it is very clear that the Kenyan social media is going to influence the thinking of other nations, other presidents, as far as Raila Amolo Odinga's actions are concerned. Because people are going to think that if this gentleman is not liked in his own nation, how is it going to support or champion the interest of Africa if he cannot champion the interest of its people? He has to champion for his people before going for the African continent. Because the scorecard now will be reading that when he was in Kenya, he did this and that. But now, Kenyans hated Raila Amolo Odinga. Right, left and center, nobody wants to talk about him on social media. So it makes it difficult for him to move forward because other presidents do see all these allegations against Raila Amolo Odinga. Also, another thing that's killing Raila Amolo Odinga's hopes in the AU chairmanship seat is the aspect of supporting William Ruto. By virtue of default settings, William Ruto now, he has to completely ensure that he campaigns for Raila Amolo Odinga strongly. Why? Most Kenyans, as we speak right now, take William Ruto to be a failure. And they are close to Raila Amolo Odinga. And Raila Amolo Odinga is now branded a failure. Most African leaders also perceive William Ruto now as a failure through Kenyans. That means very well they are going to have questions as far as voting Raila Amolo Odinga in is concerned. So in this case here, what I mean is this. Raila Amolo Odinga, for him to succeed, William Ruto must also succeed. In that, the best wishes of the Kenyans to William Ruto will as well find him, because we now have a better country where leaders that deliver are existing. So it's important to note in this point on video that Raila Amolo Odinga has lost it, according to my analysis. But if there's an contrary opinion, I'm open to that. I don't have a problem. My name is Emily Kwa. See you next time, and make sure you can subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel.